Okay, on the count of 3, everyone say their favorite video game. 1, 2, Metroid.
Okay. What's the best game console of all time? 1, 2,
Nintendo Virtual Boy.
Oh my god. Okay. Name the greatest lead character in gaming history. 1, 2.
Gex the Gecko.
What? Do we just become best friends?
Yep.
Do you guys want to go do some karate in the garage?
Yep. All right, I'll grab the nunchucks. Welcome back to another edition of the Karate in the Garage podcast. I'm your host, Mason Merrill, and today on the podcast, we are playing Metroid for the NES, the land where ladies be ballin'. Joining me today are my co-hosts, Weston Toth and Aaron Bowen. What's up, guys? Aaron's here in studio, and Weston is afar, still in the great state of Texas, though.
I had to watch Mason as he just said that cheesy line. Oh, my Lord. It was rough.
And I had to wait an entire week to hear it again. And you know what? I'm happy to be back. So
that's right. Yeah. Let's see. Last week. Yeah, I'm trying to write these cheesy lines, but they're not playing well. So
I love it. I love everything about it. It's okay.
Oh man. So it's been a little bit since we've all been here on the podcast together.
I know. I like it.
Yeah, dude, good to be back. It's what did you guys do last week? I wasn't here. You did virtual tennis. What was the ratings on that? I actually didn't even get to listen to the podcast. So sorry, guys.
You didn't get to?
No, I didn't do it.
Oh man,
we liked it.
Yeah, we liked it. It was fun.
I
enjoyed it quite a bit. I think it was more just because we were playing it together than anything.
Yeah, that was the big draw to it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I actually remember
fun.
playing that game originally when I had a Sega Dreamcast, and I enjoyed it a lot. But I was also playing with real people, so I don't know if I would have, really liked it more or less just being able to play it by myself like I did last week. But anyway, just wanted to get an update. But hey, what was your final scores on that?
I think I was a 7, and Aaron was a 6, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. I think right around there. I think I only gave it a 6 because it's probably the most sexist game I've ever played. But no women at all.
No women in the game. Yeah.
Oh man, no Anna Kournikova for Aaron.
No. I'm pretty sure that
what
game
he
was made
said.
in 1945. Actually, I'm fairly confident.
Our review of it was just a bunch of Westons playing tennis.
It was. Yeah, they all had the
playing
exact same physique and physical model.
Man,
as each other.
I like
Just
this
like
game
different
better
skin
already.
tones.
Keep telling me more.
Yeah, man. So cool. But today, as I mentioned at the top of the podcast, we are playing Metroid for the NES, and I don't know, but we definitely punished ourselves this week. So
I liked it.
Yeah, but you're into some weird stuff though. Let's just be frank here. You don't like normal fun games like me and Mason do. You either want to be like pained or you want to just like hurt I don't know what your deal is, but for some reason, me and Mason want to have fun and you don't.
Depends. I won't disagree with you entirely.
Oh. So I have a question before we get started because I had something that I thought about like after I'd been playing this game. With the booklet, because I know we talk about a lot of times there's like story missing in some of these retro titles, or there's this or that missing. Was there a map in the booklet?
Oh, I don't think so. I doubt it. In fact.
Okay. Yeah, there was.
That would have changed my review of this game dramatically.
Yeah. The only, and I'll tell you, because like I had a Nintendo growing up. I never had a Super Nintendo or anything like that. I had a Nintendo for like my entire youth and had Nintendo powers. And I'm pretty sure that I remember having the map in Nintendo Power, which is how I beat the game when I was like probably like 7 or 8 years old or whatever. But other than that, like I don't think there was ever a map or maybe partial bits and pieces of a map. I don't remember there being a map in the actual gameplay manual.
Yeah, gameplay manual.
Well, guess what, guys? I have the manual right here in front of me, and there is no map.
Okay.
There you go. Hey, did you look that up on that website that I told you about, Mace?
No, it's actually on the Nintendo website since
really?
it is part of the Switch games.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that.
So But yeah, anyway, so this game was set in the year 20CC, which is the cosmic calendar. It's a galaxy calendar constructed for the Metroid universe. And this is where the leaders of various planets united in order to form a congress that became known as the Galactic Federation in an attempt to construct a fair and structured universe that would enable society to grow and prosper. However, as time went on, a devious organization known as the Space Pirates formed and began attacking and looting spaceships. From there, the Federation formed a new group called the Space Hunters, which was basically like the FBI of the Hunters, or of the Federation, and where they were to hunt down these space pirates and bring them in for like a ransom type situation. So this gameplay takes in the year 20X5, where our protagonist, Samus Aran, is chasing after these space pirates.
I'd like to interrupt really quick here. Just make a
That's all
quick
I
side
have.
note. That's all I do. Is just
No, I said that's all I had.
Oh, okay. No, well, I was gonna say this. At least the first half of that story arc sounded ominously and similar to Star Wars episodes 1 through 3, with the Galactic Federation and everything.
I mean, I don't doubt that at all, because this game but this game did come out in August 1986, which was right during the Star Wars first trilogy.
No, he was saying the episode 1, 2, and 3.
Episode 1 through 2 and 3.
Yeah.
With Darth Maul and all that.
Oh, really?
I'm fairly sure that George Lucas stole the plot of Metroid and wrote Star Wars episodes 1 through 3.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that at all, because that was
either.
such a lazy first 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, because it's what happened
movie.
Very clearly.
Yeah.
Galactic Federation is in this booklet. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I smell a conspiracy. Star Wars nerds, get on this. Please
find it. Yeah, so anyway, it's basically this game was released in North America in August of 1986, same as Japan, and it was originally released on the arcade and then sent over to the NES in 1987. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Actually, didn't know this was an arcade game.
Yeah, me either. It was just basically kind of an adventure side-scrolling game in a similar vein to how Michael Jordan was set up, where it was like kind of an open level of just kind of figuring out your way.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those original games that was just maybe not ahead of its time, but it set the bar for, and I know you guys didn't really like playing it, but it set the bar for the last 30 years of games. As far as, I mean, there's a reason, like this and Castlevania, there's a reason why Metroidvania is a quote-unquote genre of games. It's just that adventure 2D platforming style game where you're not just fighting through one level, but you're continuing through a whole expansive map to collect items, break into different zones based on the items that you find and the power-ups that you find and things like that along the way. So it's, I don't know, to me it's legendary OG stuff.
Yeah, how'd you feel about the gameplay, Weston?
So I'm like, there's parts of it that I really liked, and that were, like, as Aaron was saying, that were like legit iconic, and you kind of see why it was really sought after and it was cool. But the parts of Metroid games that I've really enjoyed in the past 10 years were mainly like the puzzles, and there was obviously just less puzzles in this because it's just not the easiest thing to do at this point. And then but the gameplay stuff, like the enemies, trying to, like, obviously shooting them, jumping, going in your ball, getting your blaster. I thought the actual gameplay wasn't horrible. Like, I didn't hate it at all. It just was the fact that especially when you first start out, you start the game with 25 health, if I remember correctly, and you have to kill enemies to gain health instead of like just starting with the full health bar. That just made me mad from the start, because they're putting you in a deficit. And I like difficult games, but then here's the deal: is like, if it's difficult and you need to figure it out and it's hard, I'm completely fine with that. But the other thing that just bothered me about this game really, really badly is there was no map, or there was no progression saying, hey, you need to go here, here, and here and do it. And that may be because we're just so like I'm so not used to playing games that way that are not like progressive or linear or even like you can go to these zones, but you know, like after you finish one, they're like, oh yeah, like here's the next one. It's just like it was a maze of like as soon as I started playing it, I was thinking of like that old game Doodle Jump on the iPhone.
Yeah,
where you were just jumping up, and like I'm fine with those mechanics. Like I don't mind that to a certain degree. But after you do that, and then you like, I got to a spot where I shouldn't have been, but it didn't tell me like, hey, you're not really strong enough to go here. I just started getting like one shot, and I didn't have the right weapon to progress. Like it was, I think I'll pull up the map because I wanted to finally see it. I went to either Ridley's Lair or like the fire. I went to the fire zone first, which is like the second to last spot I believe you're supposed to be. So. It didn't say like, hey, by the way, because most games they'll gate it by like a power or like they'll say like, hey, be careful. You know, they'll just say like, just you may want to gain this weapon before you go past here, and then even if it's hard, you'll be able to, you know, to progress. This one didn't. It just lets you go, and then I was like, I don't know how I get past here. The answer was I couldn't because I didn't have enough health and weapons, and I didn't have like really what it's taking. So that just bothered me because I put like I was when I first started the game, I was like, oh man, this is nostalgic. Even the gameplay, jumping around, there's enemies. It's kind of like a Super Mario Brothers where you're like you don't really want to step on anything, or like everything's kind of like a spike shell basically. So you have to kind of like jump, blaster. You can like blast up or over, and at first your blaster doesn't go very far, which is fine. I'm fine with like a progressive weapons mechanic. But it got to the point where I'm like, where do I go? And I started, like I said, I went to the fire zone and I went to the rocky zone. But the first zone you're supposed to go to is like the complete opposite side of the map. And no one, like, it just didn't tell me. It wasn't like, hey, go down first, or like the screeching's coming from the basement. You might want to try that first. I'm like, oh, because I think if I would have had just a little bit more of a progression, or they told me just you might want to try this first to get some health, then I would have like I did not enjoy the gameplay, by the way. I just was so frustrated that I was going places and it was like a maze, but it like the only way that I would have liked this is if I would have like old school started drawing like the map out and being like, don't go here, go here. And I think I just got so frustrated that it just wasn't I wasn't able to appreciate, which was like to me, good level, like overall good level design, good artwork, good mechanics, like all the good things about the game were overshadowed by these couple like integral parts of the gameplay, which made me like really upset.
Yeah. So I'm gonna jump in here really quick, and I need to address a few things. So the reason you start out with a lower amount of health at the beginning of the game is because Samus crash lands into the planet,
right?
And so technically, you know, it's just like she's hurt. Okay. That being said, I actually thought that the game was really forgiving on the health situation, because I know generally in the arcade era of games, you get hit once and you're dead. So having an actual health pool I honestly like got hit once and I was like, oh, I'm gonna die, and I forgot that she even had a health pool. So I thought that was actually pretty forgiving as far as like the gameplay of that was concerned. But
there's no
checkpoints
with
you. No, there's no checkpoints. Yeah, well, and here's the thing. So we're spoiled. It's 2020. We're spoiled.
Probably.
If you and this is a situation where I don't know. I know you play WoW nowadays. Have you played the WoW Classic servers?
Yeah.
Does that hurt your heart sometimes when you play those WoW Classic servers and like you don't have a guild bank, things like that? Because this, I guess my point is just that like what we're used to now in Metroidvania games is quality of life improvements. You have that map thrown in there. It has a legend on it to show you like, oh, I picked up a health pack over here. Oh, I need, you know, a power up to go over here. When you pick up a power up, it tells you what it does. Like when you pick up that first ball power up,
nothing
in Metroid, the only way you know what to do is because you have to push down and go into ball mode to get out of that little spot that you're in. Otherwise, you can't escape. So that's the only way. You're just basically mashing buttons until you figure out what something does to get out of there. So there's no quality of life in this game at all. It is all an adventure and figuring it out And yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, 7-year-old kids back in 1986 or whatever would take graph paper and graph out a map for this game because they were too broke to, get Nintendo Power or whatever. And so that's what you had to do in old school games. That's why, like, in those old school manuals, they would have like the notes section in the back, if you guys remember that kind of stuff, and you'd be able to take notes, or you'd be able to write down. Yeah, actually, Mason's got it pulled up right here, the old manual. That's funny. But yeah, I mean, like that kind of stuff. So I mean, that is, I get it 100% because I was frustrated with the game too. From a modern perspective, it doesn't have that quality of life that we're used to nowadays.
One thing I will say is, going back to the manual, there's a lot of detail. This is a 40-page manual. So there's a lot of detail about the game and how to maneuver, and basically, like Aaron just said, it, like the pitting Samus against the mother brain on page 16. The first thing it says is, first, clear the giant maze. So it's telling you, like, this is a giant maze that you're going to have to figure out, and it gives tips and tricks along the way. So I think that's where games like these, where we have the internet today and trailers and gameplay and things like that, where back in 1986 they had the manual that really helped them out in those aspects. Yeah,
I mean, every game nowadays has some kind of prologue that essentially tutorials your way. It gives you a tutorial to show your way through. I mean, especially it's indoctrinated into mobile games, and it's really moved in, I think, a lot of the time to AAA games and stuff like that. I mean, I'd sit around and play Assassin's Creed Odyssey or 60 hours. I'm 60 hours into the game, and I still get tips that pop up randomly, just to remind me of what I can do, because there's so many different things you can do. So.
Yeah, but by the way, like, I completely hear what you're saying about quality of life, because you're right. Like, and I have played Classic WoW, and that's a very good comparison. I think, just by the way, just to give you props, like, that's a very good comparison. It's not that...
Well, thank you. I'm very good.
But like, I did go back and play Classic WoW, and I did like that game, by the way. But but you realize, you're like, oh, this WoW is definitely better now. Like, it's not like people thought it was going to be better. Like, going back to Classic was going to be a better game. It's not a better game. It's very challenging, and it's very fun because of that. But here's the next thing: is people discovered, because they've played that game before and they knew exactly what to do, like the raids and all of the hard parts of Classic that took people like 6 months to figure out, they beat it in like 6 minutes. Because they knew exactly what to do already. So from this point, like, me just coming into the game, I didn't really have the first time. But if this was like one of five games that I had on the NES, and which I did, by the way, have, like, we had a plethora of games, and that's all we would play when like me and Spence had our NES. By the time I had played this like the 10th time and we got better at it, I don't think in its essence this is a bad game. I just had a frustrating time with it because of, you're right, we're just not used to like quality of life being like this, because this was 20 years ago, and that's okay. I'm just saying, like, for a game, but saying that there are other games that we've played on the NES and Super NES, which are around this time, that didn't that actually had enough quality of life where they just held up so well.
Agree.
And this was, it held, like, gameplay, I think it held up just fine, but there was like just some things were supremely frustrating.
Oh no, I completely agree. Okay. I mean, it's like playing old Final Fantasy games where they just don't even tell you where to go, basically. It's like, go talk to JoJo in Bing Bong Town, and you know, I'm like, they just be on your way. Good luck, have fun. You're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, that's true.
Those are not real places or names of Final Fantasy.
No, they definitely are.
One thing I thought about this game is that it was very smooth. The way you played, the gameplay mechanics were very smooth. It wasn't like playing some of these old games where it would like the sprite would almost flash when you turn. It just kind of turned smoothly, and the way like when you would aim your beam up, that was all a very smooth transition, and done very nicely as you're jumping up the different things and maneuvering around. I think one big kind of letdown for me in this game was just the sizes of the boss. You know, I expected the bosses to be a lot bigger just because, like, the only other time this is the first real Metroid mainline I've played, and the only other time I've seen Ridley is in Super Smash, where he's like huge, you know. So I kind of expected them to be a little bit bigger as I went. I'm like, oh, that's Ridley, that's it, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, it's not a big bad thing. It was just something that maybe it was just unexpected to me.
Yeah,
but
it has hardware limitations too, to a certain extent.
Sure,
you know, because I mean, like,
True.
because even with if you kill an enemy and you move past on the screen where they were at and you go back to respawn, you know, that's just like the hardware just resetting what it sees in the screen at the moment. So if it was too big, and like if you played, I don't know if you guys ever played Castlevania, Symphony of the Night. I don't remember what it's called now on the PlayStation. But if you played that, like, you know, you do have those huge bosses, but it's also, you know, just because the PlayStation hardware will allow for it. I think that's really all it came down to in this. I don't know. Long-winded explanation.
Probably.
Yeah. So as far as the graphics, what was your thoughts on that, Weston?
I think for the time it was completely fine. Like I didn't like love them. It was very, because I was what I probably compared it to the most, which another game that I've played a lot of is Zelda. You know, NES, and it's kind of very similar where there was different like the same textures are very similar things. They just changed the color, or like they just changed it just a little bit to make you feel like it was a different dungeon, but essentially very much the same things. Just so. I didn't like hate it, but it wasn't anything like beautiful or special to look at. It just, you know, it was fine for what it was, but it just reminded me a lot of Legend of Zelda, you know, like Zelda on NES. So it was fine. I didn't think it was great. I didn't hate it.
Yeah. I think the design of the game was very unique for the time too. Just being a really like a open world side scroller is almost is how I described it. It wasn't like you beat this level, you're moving on. You know, you could move around, and it was just one big dungeon that you were playing through as Samus there.
No, absolutely, I agree with that. I think my biggest thing with like an NES game is not necessarily whether the graphics are like quote unquote good or not, because that's, I mean, it's 8-bit. It's hard to really put it into good terms of good and bad. But like for me, I felt like the colors and the clarity were there as far as like distinguishing, like you said. I mean, like the models of certain stuff all looks the same, but you know, you can distinguish what zone you're in by if they're, by what, like if it's the blue or the gold or what have you. And then like being able to see enemies clearly and it not have any like frame rate issues or anything like that.
True.
I think that was a big part of it for me, and like having that like stark black background really helps with that. Just in general, it's not the prettiest thing to look at, but gameplay wise it helps to be able to kind of visualize everything in front of you.
Yep. And so as you went, you were kind of hunting out some the power items like the long beam, the ice beam, the wave beam, screw attack, high jump, Varia, Marumari, and the bomb. And then there was different things like energy tanks and missile rockets and stuff. So there's a lot of really cool aspects of, just a overall, like a well-designed but simple, but had a lot of options. It was, I just think it was like I think it was a good balance of everything.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So is kind of the last thing we hit is the sound. Weston, you want to go on that one?
Well, per usual with this game, if you ever did get low health, it's gonna be annoying. I don't know if you guys ever got there, but it was just this like I was playing it on my Switch and sitting there in bed, and I literally like physically had to turn it down because Sierra, like my wife, was just looking at me and like, what the what is happening? She's like, that is like a cat's nails against a chalkboard. I'm like, yeah, sorry about that.
Yep.
But
we have this conversation every week.
Yeah, it's just not. It wasn't great, but I think theme wise, there was some times when I was like, ooh, we're in space, like kind of got some space vibes, but I didn't really like it overall.
Yeah,
not
and there's so much backlog to this game, which makes it really cool as far as the story goes.
Yeah,
but. Back to the sound. Yeah, I mean, I think that was the only thing that really annoyed me was the low health. Everything else was done pretty well.
That was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, like honestly, like if you go to like a if you listen to like 8-bit like music, like that's gotten like the drums and bass zhuzh. That's Spotify or wherever you find your music. There's some really cool mixes of the soundtrack. I've got several actually. I think Game Chops and Holder has the theme song mixed out or remixed or however you want to put it. But there are some really cool mixes of it. Again, it's just the technical limitations of a Super Nintendo, but I think the vibe is there more than anything. And yes, the dinging low health is outrageously annoying. I hate that in every game I play.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so as far as replayability, probably won't pick this one back up again, but I do think that the legacy of it is pretty cool. Like, just speaking on the chronological aspect, the next mainline game was Metroid Prime for the GameCube, which I know you played that and loved it, Weston.
Yeah. So I was just about to say, like, what was the last Metroid game that you guys played?
This.
I mean,
this is the first and last. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Super Smash.
Yeah.
I actually,
Aaron?
I think this is the only Metroid game I've played, which is astonishing to even think about, because I never had a GameCube when those games were out, and and that the game style on the GameCube, because it was more of a 3D shooter, it seemed like, never really appealed to me. I liked the 2D Metroid games, and I actually kind of switched over to like Castlevania and other like 2D platforming adventure games, because I didn't like the vibe of the 3D.
Man, so just like, because I'm the only one who's played 1, 2, and 3. I didn't beat 3, but I beat 1 and 2 on the GameCube. Those are some of the best games ever created, like, no lie, because for a lot of reasons they played really well on the GameCube. But those games, and by the way, this game, like, to start it off, it did, like, the difference between this one and like the story and kind of like the vibe versus like the newest GameCube editions of like 1 and 2 and 3, like it did it justice. I do have to say that, like from even the characters, like in the new ones, I remember even like you fight like Meta Ridley in Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 3, I believe. So, and you have these like epic boss battles with him. And by the way, those boss battles, Mason, they felt, I mean, he's, 5 times your size, and he comes flying out of the sky, and he like stomps you, and it's really, really, really epic. But
I think I remember watching you play some of those on GameCube. I never had them, but definitely it looked like in that. It reminded me, were they like more of like a third-person shooter type thing or first-person shooter?
So they're more of like a first-person shooter, because you're actually in the suit and you have like just Samus's blaster that you see and a bunch of like data.
Gotcha.
It's kind of like almost like you feel like you're in a mech kind of.
That's cool.
And then whenever you go third person, you would be going like when you're in the ball or
right.
Yeah, when you're in the ball, and then I think when you're like, because you have some grappling hooks in one of the games that you kind of go third person while you're doing those actions. But it's pretty much like a first person thing. It is very like battle heavy too, but it's a massive puzzle game as well. Like probably like half of the game is like like more of like a puzzle game, and then the other half is like a pure and there's like a good storyline in between it, and then like the other half is like a pure adventure game. But the theme from this game to those games are like, it holds true, which is awesome. I just like those were actually I think this one and Super Metroid were my first. I did play those before, but the Metroid Prime games on GameCube were my first like full. I beat them from front to back, and they were really, really considered some of the best GameCube games ever made. Like, not just by me, but by everyone else. So it's I love the franchise, and I think that, and even obviously Super Smash like has made those, a lot of these characters iconic, but those games, and I know there's a 4th one coming out at some point. Aaron, you said that right?
Cool.
Pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's announced. I don't know when it's coming out, but I think it's supposed to be coming out this year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, and I think they did a good job. Like, me and Aaron talked a little bit about last week about game remakes and how we're kind of we sometimes they exhaust the remake culture these
Yeah.
days, and Metroid here, they could have just remade the first one on GameCube, yet they made it into a sequel, and
Yeah.
Metal Gear did a good job of that and things like that. So,
Yeah.
I think it's cool that they've, from 1987 to 2003 or whatever it was that Metroid Prime came out, they had games in between there, but chronologically, they kind of made them successors of each other and not necessarily remakes.
Yeah, and they didn't, like, again, sometimes they'll take, like, an old game that was really popular and just try to revamp it for money and not hold kind of true to the genre. That did not happen with these games. Now, especially because we played this one all the way up to the new ones, like, I can rightfully say that they're so similar. It just feels like you're it's like 20 years, like, or 200 years into the Metroid Prime. You played the first one, and now you have 3D, and it's just more interactive. You have more guns. It's more puzzle based. So it's cool. That's fun to see.
They did do the treatment kind of like what they did to Pokemon Blue and Fire Red. They did do an Game Boy Advance treatment to this original game, with kind of remaking it, but they didn't do like a huge console release big game. It was just kind of one of those one-offs type of remake.
Oh, by the way, one of the reasons why I think this game was even like more tolerable than it would have been originally is on the Switch you can rewind. I don't know if you guys did that.
That's true. That's awesome.
Yeah, because if you just hold the
nice.
top triggers, you can just rewind like up to like 30 seconds. So if you get in like a really bad of a bind, So
side note, I figured that out during this game, not during the game where I really could have used it, Zelda.
Oh man, that's funny.
I did save a lot in different areas and like redo it though, so it was almost like a rewind. But
I just hit F2 a lot. No big deal.
So the Switch Arcade
okay.
is I think it's really great that they're just giving away all those games for free, or relatively free, and they're Super Nintendo and the NES, so it's worth it if anyone's into retro Nintendo games.
I was pretty close to buying a Switch the other day, but they were sold out.
Oh, no. You need to. So kind of getting into, I wanted to talk about some fun facts with this game, just some different things. The original game released for the Famicom disc system in Japan allowed saving games on the disc, but the North American release was Nintendo Entertainment System cartridge, and it didn't implement a battery backup memory to it. So they used the password system, as we saw a lot with games of that era.
Yeah.
So that was one note. And then the original name of the game was Space Hunters, but changed to Metroid during development. And then the game was only a game of its time to feature a female protagonist, Samus. But however, it was kind of sexist because her identity was shrouded in mystery, even in the booklet where Samus is referred to as he in a lot of ways, unless you beat the game in under 5 hours, where at the very end, after you come out of the last area, she desuits, and it's a woman standing there at the very, very, very end. And then after the credits roll, there's a secret level that you play as Zero Suit Samus.
That's cool. Yeah, you can basically, so it's like so she doesn't have anything on. It's like the last level of Metal Gear Solid 2.
I don't know. What was that?
Where Raiden is just like running around naked.
Holding
his ding dong.
No, she's in the Zero Suit, from the...
Yeah, Zero Suit, no suit.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what it means, right?
Yeah.
No, and you can put in I'm just kidding around. You can put the Samus RN code in as well as a password, and it'll let you play the entire game as her Zero Suit.
That's neat. Yeah.
I did that a lot when I was a kid, 'cause she's like green hair and a purple suit. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and kind of for the last one, it is the last fact here. The game was thought to have hidden areas known as the Hidden Worlds, but actually those areas were glitches in the development process, only discovered after the release of the game. So you could go into secret through walls and things, and people thought they were secret areas, but they're actually just a big old glitch in the game. So anyway, I think that's pretty much wraps for this game, all in all, unless you guys have anything else you want to say.
No.
I'm
good.
Nope.
Cool.
We covered it.
All right, well, I think it's time to rate this game.
What are we going to rate it with? Mother brains? Metroids?
Metroids
are these small creatures found in the game.
Right. Okay, let's rate it with
if
that.
Anybody wasn't sure. Little spiky guy.
yeah, they come in. They're like a really annoying assist in Super Smash too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, so Metroids. How many Metroids out of 10, Weston?
I'm going to go 5 out of 10. I see this game for everything that is, and I definitely appreciate it. I have appreciation and gratitude that it's around. I just didn't have that much fun playing it, and I'm not gonna ever pick it up again. So, it definitely deserves like a 5. I mean, it's not like super low. It's just I just didn't have the best time with it. So 5 out of 10.
Okay, Aaron.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10. No, I'm just kidding. I am.
I was about to come, literally drive 8 hours and just come up there and whoop you.
Just drive it home. No, I am actually though. I am gonna give this game a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
This is the highest rated game or the highest rating I've ever given a game on this podcast. It is fantastic. It is a gem of its time.
Yeah.
I probably won't replay it anytime soon. I will probably sit my kid down to play it and make him play it with and appreciate the games that he has now. But
your child.
Oh no, I'll do it. But it's spawned such a legacy. It's such a legendary game that it spawned its own genre of games. I mean, you can't say anything more than that.
No, true that.
People are still remixing the soundtrack. It's terrific for what it is. On the NES, and it's just, it's iconic. I mean, you can't hate on the game. I don't know. I can't hate on the game. It's fantastic. I mean, other than the small amount of quality of life things, which are kind of resolved to a certain extent by the game having the game manual, which you can look up online. Pretty terrific, my opinion. Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 because of all the thought that went into this world. It was built before the game even started, the world building. Yeah. It feels like they had a projection of where they wanted to go with it too, with all the characters, and they didn't really stray from that at all. And, literally in the manual, the story of the game is like 4 pages, so there's a lot put into this game for a time where they had little to work with. So anyway, yeah, so 7 out of 10 for me.
Sounds about
cool.
right.
So yep, moving on. What are we going to do next week? Let's think about, has anything come to mind?
Play Super Metroid.
I'm good.
I do want to play Super Metroid, but we need to play it down the road. By the way, I'm not even joking. I want to play that game because I feel like that, if they got to where the GameCube is, and there has to be progression. And I think this one, I think there's very few things that this game needed for me to actually rate it a lot higher. So I'd like to play Super Metroid in maybe a month or two down the road.
I'd like to point out a fact too that Mason brought out, just as a side note, about Metroid, because we were talking about the story and everything. There is actually a Super Metroid comic, and there were comics posted in Nintendo Power and stuff because there was so much story going on. So I just thought that was kind of cool because they're really like Mason said, there is a lot of backstory here in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of manga too, like graphic novels.
Manga, but that's
manga. Yeah,
you're fired. You're demoted to third host.
All right. So as for next week, any thing come to mind? Kind of, do you want to go newer? You want to stay in the older genre? What are you thinking, Weston?
So just throwing this out there is also it doesn't have to be this next week, but I do want to put a game in our queue for the next couple weeks, and that game is Crystallis. It is kind of like a Zelda counterpoint, but it is on the Switch arcade. I just saw it while I was going through, and that is also a game that I have really, really fond memories of, and I'd like to see if it holds up.
Sure, yeah. But
we don't have to. It's very similar to Zelda, so I don't think we should play it next week. But I'm just letting you know, putting that on the docket that in maybe a week or two.
What platform is that?
It's NES.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, NES,
awesome.
but it's a more fantasy, even a more fantasy version, kind of like world, Zelda. But I have super, super fond memories of playing that game.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had mentioned Star Tropics last week, which is also kind of it's kind of a Zelda-esque game as far as the gameplay is concerned or what have you. So yeah, it would probably take a little while to actually beat it. Let's do Asteroids Hyper 64.
Yeah, I'm
Red
just
Alert Fighters.
I'm clicking the gauntlet right now.
Have you guys ever played Bubble
ideas.
Bobble?
No. What's that on?
No.
On any NES. If we're gonna go like just, we need to decide like what
We'll pick a console.
Yeah,
I picked the Nintendo 64.
Okay.
Let's play a first-person shooter on Nintendo 64.
GoldenEye.
Wait.
Let's
we've
pick a
already
game
done
to
this, and
hate.
it's horrible. This is a terrible
Perfect
idea.
Dark 2.
Let's pick a game to ruin for everybody and for ourselves for the rest of our lives.
Oh, we could do Wave Race 64. We haven't done like a
yeah.
racing game like that.
Yeah, that's a fun game. I remember enjoying that game. I played it in the arcade.
I'm down.
Well, it might
That
not
sounds
have been very, very 64, but yeah.
Okay.
Like it.
So maybe we'll do Wave Race 64 and then Bubble Bobble for the NES the next week, and then maybe Crystallis after that.
Play an X-Men game.
We just played an X-Men game.
That was like a month ago.
We can't play 2 X-Men games in a row.
You can play one X-Men game a month. That's the rules.
I mean, I do want to play X-Men Legends, and
See?
now that Aaron is here, we can rig it up to maybe all 3 of us play online or something.
We should play Earthworm Jim.
Oh, true.
That was a pretty popular game. Was that
Super Nintendo? I think
Super
no.
Nintendo.
Well, there was one on regular Nintendo.
in
But
Game Gear?
Super Nintendo
or
was
Game
the one
Genesis.
that was like that's where it
That,
got
yeah,
it.
that's kind of where it kicked off. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one on Genesis as well, I
Push
think.
easy, man, easy.
Okay,
I'm
so
down for Wave Runner.
Wave Race 64.
Wave Race.
Sound
That's
good.
what I meant.
Yeah, and this is a game me and Aaron can play together.
Yes, for shizzle.
All right, guys,
And
calm down.
also-
Like you don't have to make me feel bad.
And also, we need to have our NFL Blitz battle.
We already did, dude.
We didn't.
Yeah, don't you remember?
We played tennis.
No. We played NFL Blitz. I can't believe you don't remember.
That was almost as bad though, because literally we were playing this tennis game, and we talked about this last week. But I was like, we were screaming at each other.
Oh, hard.
Yeah, I wanted to get into this for a second because I said this on the podcast. Weston can attest to this. Playing doubles with me on the video game is like playing doubles with me in real life.
Oh yeah,
because I'm just on the ground the whole time.
Yeah.
so true.
I was literally just shouting, "Why are you just standing there?" over and over again.
Oh man.
Oh.
But yeah, I was reminiscing to the times that we used to play tennis together, and you'd be like, "Dude, get the ball!" It just go right past my head.
I think the problem too is I'm ultra competitive, and then
yeah,
and I know you are as well. But in the moment, for some reason, like whenever it was like, okay, we got to do this, I'm just like, you missed it, dude. What happened?
I just dropped
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Dude, I'm like sweaty palms playing against a computer.
Oh, same.
in a frickin' Sega Dreamcast game from 20 years ago. Like sweaty palms, like it actually matters. Our wives are over there giving us grief about it, but I'm like, you know what? We need to win this thing.
And,
all right?
and Mason
because
just
these two
on the
guys that
floor.
look exactly like white Weston and slightly darker Weston cannot win. All right.
Oh
Yeah, it's like French Weston, Australian
Australia
Weston,
yeah.
United States Weston.
I think I was Swiss Weston. I'm pretty sure. It was pretty great.
I love it.
it was
Weston.
fun. Yeah, that was a fun game. But anyway, that was
Weston.
something to mention. So Wave Race 64 next week. But kind of moving on, some of probably the bigger video game news that happened last week was the Halo Infinite trailer, the story trailer. Aaron,
I made a fart noise into the microphone.
what was kind of your? So I guess Aaron, you didn't like it.
It looks fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny because like I see it, and then I'm like, and then like everybody's comparing it to Destiny, and I was like, it just doesn't. I don't know. It's fine. Whatever. I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna buy it. I wouldn't like buy a next generation Xbox just to play this game.
Would you play this on like the Xbox Online? Like,
I mean, Microsoft's not getting any of my money other than for Windows. That's it. Let's be clear about this. Yeah, no. I don't support Xbox.
Okay. It's funny because you had an Xbox.
Oh, I had
over all
yeah.
of us.
I had a 360. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the last one I had, and I had it for a few exclusive games, and it was great. But yeah, I don't know. Like, and actually, I bought the original Xbox, the Xbox. I think it was just called the Xbox back in the day. It wasn't the X.
I was
the
waiting
Xbox...
for you to just realize it's just called the Xbox. You're like the Xbox.
The black one with the X on it. Yeah.
Microsoft game.
I almost called it the Xbox One, but then I was like, wait, no, that was a different one, because they like to just juke around the whole idea of naming things in progression. Anyways, I bought that original Xbox for the original Halo because that was just awesome. Would never do it again. Would never buy another Xbox just for Halo.
Bro, remember that time we went to Columbus and we met that girl Taylor? And you guys like played Halo all the time together?
No.
We used to play online with her, didn't you?
No.
Oh, I just remember you being really good at Halo.
Wait. No,
we played Halo at the house in Columbus at the house.
Yeah, let's get this right here. Like, Aaron and her started talking because they both were kind of nerds. Aaron was not good at Halo.
Whoa.
Aaron got smashed that weekend by yours truly at Halo.
Okay.
So calm down.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Now I'm gonna buy an Xbox so we can play Halo. Weston has
reignited.
Weston has smack talked me into spending $600 right now.
That was the easiest bait I've ever done in my life.
In 30 seconds, Weston got me to spend $600.
Just get it on like the computer. Their like remote play service.
No,
It's just it's a subscription, and you can play any. It's like Stadia for
it's outrageous.
Microsoft.
No, it's not anything close to Stadia. Stadia is unique. This is trash.
Okay. But anyway,
I'm going to fight you in Halo 1, Weston. We're going to get it on Steam. They have Halo 1 HD remaster on Steam.
Hey, you don't need to beat on Steam. Just get the Xbox Game Pass, and you can get the complete collection, and it runs 50 times better than the one on Steam. Are you okay?
Yeah,
come on.
You guys are gonna have a Halo showdown.
All I'm saying is I'm buying Halo, and you're gonna buy it too, and then we're gonna fight each other.
I already have it. I'm like,
okay. Well, I'm gonna get it, and then we're gonna fight each other,
and then we're gonna put it on Twitch,
and then we're gonna play Overwatch and see who wins.
Oh, wait.
You'll lose.
That's the only game that I probably will lose to you.
Okay.
But if we play the other ones, I will have a fighting chance. But the Overwatch, you will probably own me so hard.
I will ravage you. Did you get any better at Valorant lately?
Hey, not now, Aaron. Don't talk about ravaging me on air.
Be like a Viking warlord invading your town.
Okay, what were you saying?
Who's excited for Assassin's Creed Valhalla? Anyways, what was that? What
you
was
are
I saying?
Definitely.
I am super excited.
Well, we were talking about Halo. How was your reaction to this trailer, Weston?
So here's the deal. I've been a big Halo fan. Not just like definitely the multiplayer, but just in general of the single player. I've really enjoyed the campaign since the first one. Like the first campaign that you go through, even though like the multiplayer was the star and that's why everyone played it. But like even the campaign, it was really, really good. First, second game, and third game were really good campaigns. I haven't really like dabbled in any of the other ones since then, but I probably, especially if this is popular with all my other buddies that I game with, I'll probably end up buying it. But I'm not going to buy an Xbox because I just like we've talked about this before. You can get Xbox Game Pass on your PC, any Windows 10 device, and I have a really ballin' computer that will play this beautifully. A lot of people I saw were saying that the graphics didn't look good, and I don't know. Like when I watched it, but I watched because I have a 4K laptop and I was watching on YouTube in 4K. So it looked pretty nice to me, but it wasn't like the nicest game, like Unreal 4, the nicest preview they've ever shown, but it ran really nice. It definitely looked good, but I mean, it was definitely good enough for me to play it if it's fun and other people are going to play it, but I'm not going to buy an Xbox for this game, but it's kind of, I think it's kind of divided right now.
Yeah, graphically it didn't impress me either. It was, and I say that only. I mean, it does look fine. It looks good. It's just not.
It's not next gen.
What I would expect. Yeah, it's just not next gen at all.
Kind of how we felt about some of those PS5 announcements.
Yeah, and like if you're comparing it to Destiny 2, which a lot of people are, Destiny 2 looks way better.
Does it?
Yeah.
Way better. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm a fan. I'm a fan
so.
of the genre, or I'm sorry, of the series. I just I think it's hard to say, especially because the game's just not out yet. Like we don't have it in our hands.
Yeah.
I would definitely pay $40 for the game to play it on my PC, but I'm not gonna buy an Xbox for it. And besides that, like I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it is. Like that's the thing, is I'm not gonna buy it just day one. But normally I'll buy games. You know, you give it a good week. There's like with the internet and just like reviews and stuff, you'll know if you want to buy this game or not.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. So, kind of move. You know, I thought the trailer was cool with the bad guy doing the over voice. I think he looks pretty scary. So, I don't know. We'll see. I won't play it unless we play like a multiplayer type thing sometime together. But
you're not gonna play with your son?
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna pick it up and play it with my 5-year-old. That'd be.
Yeah. I only play Diablo 3 with my son.
Yeah.
That's a joke, you guys.
So moving on. Last but not least, today the Marvel's Avenger beta began.
Wait, really?
Yeah, with if you pre-order the game, you can get it on the beta.
Ooh.
And they have they had the Hawkeye reveal trailer, which looks pretty sweet.
That's dope.
Yeah,
I wonder
just
if I can pre-order it on Stadia. I'm gonna find out right now.
But yeah, anyway, I just more of the gameplay and stuff. It just looks awesome. I mean, and they announced that Hawkeye is gonna be the first DLC of the game. But they're not charging for, you know, a certain amount of DLC, so he'll come later. But he's going to be the first DLC character, which is cool.
Nice.
So,
you know who he looks like in this game? He looks like the guy who had lightning powers. A Sony game.
Thor?
No. It was Infamous. He looks like the guy from Infamous. I knew you were gonna.
Oh
that.
yeah.
I see that.
Yeah,
bro. You know what? You know what would get me to buy a PS5?
What?
They made another Infamous game.
Yeah.
They just made Second Son and then just stopped. I'm like, guys, Second Son was an incredibly good launch title, and then you just dropped the ball. Like, what happened, y'all?
Well, maybe they're waiting for PS5 to make another one.
I hope so. I really want it. I've been playing Orcs Must Die 3 a lot, and that's quite a bit of fun. Really.
This podcast sponsored by Google Stadia.
This podcast sponsored by Google exclusive Orcs Must Die 3, where it's like a third-person shooter / turret defense game. A lot of fun.
I've played it. It's good. I agree.
Yeah.
So, anyway, back to Avengers. This game just looks cooler and cooler. You know, just as they show more stuff. I'm definitely excited, and now I'm like, oh, should I get the beta or should I just wait for the actual game to come out? You know?
Yeah, I was actually really, when I watched the video of the lightning guy. What's his name again? Thor. Yeah.
Not Infamous Thor, the real lightning.
Yeah, who are we talking about here?
By the way, I totally made that joke on purpose. It was entirely intentional. I explained it, so it's not funny anymore.
No.
It wasn't very funny to begin with.
He's
But
just
anyways, when I saw that gameplay trailer, I was like, I am 1,000% buying this game now. Like, I was 100% buying it, but now I'm 1,000% buying it.
I think the cool thing is this would be a game that all of us want to play, and we could do some like mad co-op.
Yeah, for sure. I think the only thing is like, and this might have changed from the last time I read about it and what have you, but I feel like the last time I had seen something about it, which was several months ago, was that the co-op was primarily for like side quests and things like that, and not so much to go through the main storyline together, which is fine, because I mean, co-op in this type of game would be incredibly fun, like especially if they had just like a horde mode and you could just endlessly beat down enemies as they got progressively stronger. That'd be super duper fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of laid out in like co-op missions, kind of like how Dragon Ball Xenoverse was, where you could do like the missions as co-op, and then the main storyline you did by yourself.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 now on sale for $10 to Stadia Pro members until July 29th.
Oh man, well that was kind of the last thing in gaming news. There next month, about a month from now, Gamescom is going to have a big conference, and they're going to have the last of the new titles they're announcing for the Summer Game Fest. So it's crazy, guys. Summer's almost over.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
This
It's crazy.
This year has felt so long, but also felt like it's gone so short.
Oh man.
Aaron's making me edit so much out of
You're
this
not
podcast
editing
today.
literally anything out of this. Every time you say you're gonna edit something out, or I ask you to edit it out, you just leave it in.
Hey, but which, by the way, before we sign off here, have we talked about Michael Keaton coming back to the DC universe yet? Have you guys heard anything
We
about
talked about DC Universe for a solid 40
that? No,
minutes. the
but
other
like
day.
Michael Keaton's coming back as Batman.
Well, I'm pretty sure that was in there somewhere.
No, I don't think we talked about that because we talked about the Snyder Cut.
I don't know. We talked about a lot of stuff. That's all I know.
All I know
Yeah.
is I love Michael Keaton and I like a lot of the movies he does. In fact, I watched a Spotlight last night. If you've ever seen that, that's a good one. It's critically acclaimed. But with Michael Keaton. But I don't want him to come back as Batman. By the way, I do not want that.
But like,
Older
what
Batman,
about
though,
what?
like a
yeah.
mentor?
What about
like old-
Batman
like old-
Beyond? Bruce Wayne.
Oh no! Sorry, I just don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. No, I just don't want him. He can come back as Bruce Wayne. I just don't want him to come back as like, hey.
He's gonna like have a cane and break a hip.
That's
if
what I'm
he's-
saying.
if
It
he's
would
Batman.
be weird.
Yeah, they're talking about a DC universe, like a 4-movie deal with him, and the first
Yeah.
movie he's supposed to appear in is the Flash movie next year.
Yeah.
So.
You know, I will say this though, and it would be kind of cool if in Batman Beyond they kind of go into the backstory of Batman, like Bruce Wayne Batman getting older, and like he has that like crazy like mechanized suit that like supports his kind of aging frail body. And if they did something like that for a hot minute, that would be kind of cool.
Well, like a Batman Beyond, Tim Burton, like a Batman Beyond made by Tim Burton.
I
That
don't
would
really
be
want that.
That would be wild.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
In the vein of those first 2 movies, though.
No, you know what? I'll be frank. They're all right. The Tim Burton Batman movies, they're fine. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them when I was younger. Not as much of a fan
Now
nowadays.
our 4th host on the podcast, Aaron Bowen. Everybody.
Just
playing.
What was your favorite Batman movie?
Me?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
None of them. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm just kidding around. I swear to God.
Justice League, the original cut.
My favorite Batman movie. Gosh. Actually, I'll tell you, I really like Killing Joke. That's epic.
No, like live action.
Yeah.
Oh, live
Yeah,
action?
yeah.
It has to be live action? All right.
Batman and Robin.
You're gonna pigeonhole me like that. Yeah, probably. What was the one where you could see Batman's nipples through his suit?
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, that one. That's the best one. And Arnold Schwarzenegger making 45 different ice puns in one scene. Not even through the whole movie, one scene. No, yeah, Batman. Probably Batman Begins. That's solid. I like that a lot.
I mean, The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Oh, with Heath Ledger. Oh my God, Heath Ledger. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably The Dark Knight, but after
I'm a
that,
little too hipster
for
for
me, was Batman Returns with Danny DeVito as the.
I
I
love
do
that
love
one
that.
too. I think that one's great.
Yeah.
And the
I do,
ending
too.
is so iconic because he gets out of the the limo and it's snowing and he like picks up the cat and he's like, "Where'd Catwoman go?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I really like Batman Returns, even though it's probably not considered like the best one. I think that movie is really well done.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go home and watch it, and then I'll give you guys my opinions on it.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
sounds good.
I'm throwing this out
This
there.
is a movie podcast now.
We don't want your opinions because it's perfect the way it is in my mind.
Hey,
Yeah, but
You're gonna
anyway,
get 'em.
I think Keaton coming back as another world Batman is pretty sweet because
Yeah.
DC is all about that multiverse like pretty hard.
yeah.
So anyway, I think that's a cool announcement to bring him back into the fold if he's willing to do it.
DC's only about the multiverse.
Yeah,
They have
pretty much.
no continuity.
Yeah, a lot of fans have been like, but Affleck's the DC Universe Batman. It's like, well, there's a multiverse. There's more
Yeah.
than one Batman. Like,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
And there
Haven't you
always will
seen
be.
Into the Spider-Verse? So obviously DC has
Right?
a multiverse.
Yeah, exactly.
DC's had a multiverse since the DC movie universe like started.
Yeah.
Essentially, I mean, every time they make a Batman, it's a new Batman. I think the Christian Bale trilogy was the only time there was the same guy 3 times in a row. Every single of the 20 Batman movies that they have are different. So yeah, I mean that's just how they do. People don't think it'd be like it is, but
Yeah, and
they
the
do.
TV especially universe has leaned hard into the multiverse
Yeah.
aspect of it all. So
yeah.
Anyway, I think that's it for today. Those were just kind of a couple news items that came to mind. But yeah, unless you guys have anything else, we're gonna be playing Wave Race 64 next week.
Cool.
Ready to
race
hit
the
the
waves.
waves.
Yep,
Race the
and
wa- Do you just race waves in that game?
Yeah, not other
Yes.
people on Wave Runners, just
It's-
waves.
Yeah. It's literally just
Like
waves.
the ocean is
Yeah.
your competitor, and you're
It's
a
racing
time attack.
waves.
It's like Moana, but with waves.
You
Or
just
I
got
mean,
it.
wait, no, I messed that up. It's like Moana, but with a jet ski.
Exactly. There we go.
Sounds
I
awesome.
figured out what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I'd buy it. You make it, I'll buy it.
Moana, but with jet skis.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what they should do is they should make race. What was it? Wave race
You're drunk,
Moana.
go home.
I think I'm having a stroke right now. They should have Wave Race Moana edition for the Nintendo Switch, and it's just Wave Race, but you have all the Moana characters,
That sounds fun.
and you race the waves.
Yeah, I'm down. I mean, they're doing like full SpongeBob titles. Surely they can do like a
Yeah,
Wave Runner Moana.
and SpongeBob isn't even good.
I know, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. This is gonna be a good game, you guys.
I'm excited.
This podcast brought to you by Moana.
Yeah, there's no faces, to like really that you're looking straight into, like Perfect Dark. So hopefully we'll have a good time with this game.
The people don't have faces.
Well, I mean they do, but you're not looking at them like you are in Perfect Dark.
Can you not? Are you not?
I think
allowed
you're just
to?
looking at the back of their head.
You're not allowed to look them in the
Probably
face.
not. Yeah. Like the Omen or something.
It's like the Ring. Like if you look at their face, they'll die. I've never seen the Ring. I just assume that's what happened.
I'm pretty sure Weston's gone by now.
I think Weston actually went to bed.
Oh, I realize that you guys are still talking, and I'm just waiting for you to stop talking about nonsense, and then we can continue.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna press pause on this one right now, but you guys keep playing.
He's gonna edit this out.
Oh my
but I'm gonna
goodness.
say until next time. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Weston, what's your sign off? Just goodbye. That's it.
As of right now, yes.
That's a lame sign. You need to work on that, bro. Mason's got a sign in and a sign off, and a new
Yeah.
sign in every week.
Bro, you need to work on your face.
If you'd like to send us a message, you can email us at kitgpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at kitgpodcast on Twitter.